Right, learn more about security, because I have no idea what you folks do.
Yeah, we don't either.
There we go.
There we go. These aren't that. Okay.
Yep, go.
There we go.
Yeah.
We're here. Morning.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Mike Fiedler.
And I'm Seth Larson.
We are your Python Software Foundation security engineers, security developers in residence. And we were here last year giving an update of what we had accomplished that year. And it's been a year, so we figured let's do it again. So in our industry, the concept of a T-shaped engineer or a multiple skills engineer is a concept that we've talked about a lot. And the idea there is that you have both breadth and depth in certain areas in your discipline. And both Seth and I figured we'd like to demonstrate what we believe our T-shape is for you. As this demonstrates, thank you for the applause, thank you very much. As this demonstrates, Seth works a lot on the breadth of Python, and I work a lot on the depth of PyPI. And here's just a few things that we want to talk about that we've done over the past year.
Yeah, so last year I got up here and I told you all about software bill of materials for CPython. That was awesome. And so I decided, let's do more. So now we have software bill of materials for Python packages. It's an in-progress thing. As we know, Python packages are like glue. There's just tons of different software in there that's really complicated. Things that are not Python, like C, C++, Rust, JavaScript, Fortran, all of it. So what this project is focusing on is trying to make it so that machines can understand Python packages more easily, so that your tools like vulnerability scanners, compliance policy, all of that can more easily make you feel confident that you're secure when you're using Python packages to build applications. Next, pip uses system certificates by default. Now, who out there uses pip behind a corporate proxy? Hands up. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of hands. Now I'm going to cover my eyes. Who here has disabled certificate verification when doing so? Are you seeing any hands, Mike?
Nobody has disabled certificate
Okay,
verification
perfect,
ever.
Perfect.
Never,
okay,
no.
great. So what this means is if you upgrade pip, there's a really good chance that you'll never have to do that again. You'll just be secure, and your IT department and you will live in harmony forever. So please do that. I also work on the security response team. This past year, we published 16 advisories. I actually published one while we were all at PyCon, so you're welcome. You're more safe. Yeah, so this is like continuous work for the most part, but it's also things like automating the system so that when a new advisory goes out, all of the alerts go out and it's really easy for everyone, including not just me, but also people that are on the team that are mostly volunteers. But then also things like when fixes get backported and re-released, then all the records get updated and no one has to actually manually go in and do that. And then maybe looking forward a bit. So the Cyber Resilience Act is coming. It's going to impact many open source projects, but also open source users especially. And so trying to make it so that the Python ecosystem is ready for the Cyber Resilience Act to land. It's already in effect, but a lot of the requirements won't start until 2026 and after. So we have this year to kind of prepare and get all the knowledge out. And then finally, just continuing my approach with security, which is security in a box, which is essentially trying to solve these really hard security problems and then write about it, create guides, create tools that can be taken and then remixed by all of the different communities and projects that Python has. Because obviously we're an extremely large community and ecosystem and everyone has their own needs. And so I've found a lot of success with that, especially in like the scientific community, Django. There's lots of projects that are engaging with me and looking to improve their own security posture based on what we learn at the Python Software Foundation.
Thanks, Seth. To talk about a few of the things that I've worked on. So malware on PyPI is a persistent problem. Attackers out there want the goodies that you might have on your laptop. They want to prey on unsuspecting users around the world, posting here, you can solve your problem by pip installing some random library out there, and they'll upload that and it'll try and do something you don't want on your computer. Prior to this, the Project Quarantine work, the only operation PyPI administrators had was to delete the project. And that is a destructive action, it removes it, and doesn't give us enough time to analyze the impact or what might happen. So we kind of approached it with a very cautious, we don't want to delete things that are important, so we would leave them up while we were analyzing. By adding the ability to quarantine a package, put it in timeout for a little while we investigate, make it unavailable for people to install and then further get infected, gives us some breathing room to investigate and thank you. Investigate prior to removal or clearing it from quarantine. We've expanded the Project Quarantine to now take inbound reports and a number of them which are positive or trusted reports for a given project to automatically quarantine, thus reducing the time live on index. So in the past, a project might be on the index for hours or over a weekend because some of us don't work on the weekends and we still want the community to be protected even though the malicious actors are working on weekends. So by adding an automated quarantine, it puts it in that timeout, and Monday morning when we come into work, we can review the queue and see what needs to be handled. Another big project was the finality of two-factor authentication, full enforcement on PyPI. Woo! This is the culmination of years of work of lots of different people, and I got to carry it over the finish line and tell you all about it. But as of January 1st this year, every single PyPI upload is by a 2FA-enabled user. So, yeah. The impact of that is we are reducing the ability to have your account taken over by just someone getting your username and password. Now you must have that second factor in order to access that account, provision API tokens, and thus for. There are hopefully more evolutions in this space to further protect account security, such as the next part, which is email deliverability. When you sign up for an account with any service using an email address, if you use a domain that you currently own and you have that domain expire because you stopped paying for it or you forgot you were using it for a service like PyPI, that record still exists. Hopefully you haven't made it public, but some people do. And some attackers will look out there and see that project's been on the index for a decade. The person who published it used a domain name that they no longer control. Why don't I go register for that domain, issue a password reset, and start publishing new versions of that package? That's called a domain resurrection attack, and I'm working right now to minimize the ability of emails that cannot be delivered right now to an expired domain to prevent exactly that kind of attack. And some of the work that's going in the future is we've added something to detect typo squatting. It's quite noisy. We get a lot of false positives because there's a limited set of letters in the ASCII alphabet for projects. But we're seeing some traction where the noise does produce a smaller signal. So we've already caught some attackers prior to researchers having to go investigate just by purely looking at the log of, that's interesting, that's weird, and then we can remove those even faster than waiting for further analysis to come in from external partners. This is just a taste of what I've done in the past year and what we're doing in the next year, because again, we don't have all the time here, but you can follow us out here in a couple different places.
Yeah, so like Mike said, we love getting up in front of you every year to say, here's all the cool security stuff we've done in the past year since the last PyCon. But the thing is we're actually publishing a lot of this news incrementally as it happens. And a lot of the times, you as users can adopt these tools or adopt these practices ahead of time, so you don't have to wait for next PyCon. So I highly recommend subscribing to both the PyPI blog, especially if you're really interested in like new PyPI features or security features, and then the PSF blog on the right there. I publish all of my case studies, guides, and just cool security stuff that's happening in the community about Python. Yeah. And I also wanted to thank Alpha Omega, who is the sponsor for both of us, all of the security developers and residents at the Python Software Foundation. So can we get a hand for Alpha Omega?
And thanks you all for being here and being interested in what is going on in security. We'd love to talk to you. We're here for the next couple days.